Hey everybody, John Ramdeen and Robin Black with you on our downtown studios. The UFC looking to put together a lightweight tilt for UFC 209. It's been rumored Khabib Nurmagomedov taking on the very talented Tony Ferguson. And just when you think about the style of these two guys, and you know what, I know you get upset when we talk about style, but Tony Ferguson has a specific style and the way that he attacks and the way that he flows, just like Khabib has a specific style in comparison to that prototypical mixed martial arts fighter where everything starts standing, you do your cage work, you look for singles or doubles or however you can get the fight to the ground, pass, blah, 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 blah. When you think about this fight, what do you picture happening over the course of 15 minutes or 25 minutes?
I think the real interesting place for me, obviously when Khabib gets down, gets pressure on your back hip, or gets on top of you, or gets in half guard, it's a spooky place. Although we've seen that Tony is very good off his back in ways that people haven't been familiar with. Their training partners aren't playing the way that Tony plays. So that is interesting. But on the way in is what I'm interested in. Yes, in the striking, but for you to get from where you are to my hips, which is what Khabib wants, you got to pass through this open space. And in that open space, Tony attacks your head. Front headlock, front face lock, whatever you want to call it. He attacks that position, and he has a whole universe of options from that position. We saw Doo-Ho Choi play a little bit with knees from there against Cub Swanson. That is one of those areas that is still an open development in the fight game, but I think Tony Ferguson is a master of that range. Your head approaching in here, and he takes control of the head in one arm. He's got Darce chokes, he's got anaconda chokes, he's got snap downs, he's got strikes, he's got access to your back. That universe, Khabib has to pass through it, and I think that's where Tony Ferguson will try to own that fight.
If you are Tony Ferguson and his team, Eddie Bravo, part of that, the Tony Ferguson clan, so to speak, are you trying to come up with some sort of formula that if the inevitable happens and Khabib does manage to get you on the ground, he plays a specific game, what are you doing from there? Are you trying to attack with sweeps and submissions, or is the assignment, you know what, we know that he's good here, we know that he's not going to be good here, let's just get him, as you pointed out, constantly moving through that area that we feel that will eventually catch him.
Yeah, we want to work from there, and we're going to catch him from there. And Khabib is going to work to pass that safely and get to some type of leg ride or some type of hip control. We saw that he'd like to reach underneath and motorcycle grip that and pound you. He did that to Michael really aggressively, but they'll be working on that. We talk about how much fighters get better. Well, the fighter pushes the coach, which pushes the fighter, which pushes the coach. And I know Eddie, I know how smart he is. Hey, Eddie, how's it going, man? Eddie will be developing games in there too. So custom games for Khabib, and he's probably very excited about it. Sometimes we make these estimations that this fighter looks this way. Jose Aldo does this, and he does this with that. These guys change constantly. And people who think they understand what Eddie Bravo's system is and how to beat it, they're not taking into account that Eddie is constantly evolving that spider web. So if you think, oh, I just got to keep my hand off the mat, blah, 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 he's got an answer for that now. That's going to be an interesting area. Khabib is the most dominant top player in the game right now, and Eddie will gladly take on that challenge, and so will Tony Ferguson. Tony is a super intense guy, and he fights with a super intense mindset, and I love this fight. We've seen it in their back and forth and their chatter, but some of that may be selling stuff, and in Khabib's case, he's probably not even the guy running his own Twitter.
When you think about how this fight is going to unfold right from the beginning, is it a patient game? Do you believe that both guys have to go after it, considering the biggest money fight of their entire career kind of hanging in the balance? You win this fight, you get the crack at Conor McGregor and all the gold that goes with it.
Khabib is the guy you got to figure out how to beat. Now, Tony may not take that approach, and I am not qualified to question Tony Ferguson. The guys just look so amazing. But if you choose to look at the unbeaten Khabib as the riddle to solve, he's got one of two choices from outside. One is hyper-aggressive to close the distance to get a hold of you. We've seen him do that a lot. Once he gets hurt, he will do that. So that's something we're prepared for, and that's something we address, is his aggressive filling of the space with weapons as he closes that distance. We're ready with an answer for that. If he chooses not to do that, we piece him up from the outside, moving our feet. If he penetrates into that, we work that front face lock, front headlock universe. If he gets us to the ground, we work the Eddie Bravo game. The reason I'm looking at it from how to beat Khabib is because nobody's beaten Khabib. So you start to think, how could it be done? Will it be done? Can someone do it? As with Tony, I don't know that you build a structure for Tony outside of your own strategy. Get to the positions you like if you're Khabib and do what you've done to everybody else. It's Tony, I think, that wants to address the stages that Khabib uses to get that dominant game.
So you feel basically that when you look at Lando Venata or you look at Edson Barboza and the success that they had, don't focus on those things. No. Focus on what got you to this point of your career.
I think so, because Tony's a very different Tony. Khabib has made the Khabib steps work, and he's going to keep riding that until somebody can stop him.
A very interesting fight at 155 pounds, rumored to go down at UFC 209.